She broke her leg skiing. With our neighbor. My wife went on a business trip and broke her leg there. I rushed straight to the hospital and took the first flight. It turns out she was skiing with her lover at a ski resort and broke her leg there. I'm Carter, 33. My wife is Sloan, 31. We've been together 7 years, married 5, one daughter, June 4, who thinks pancakes cure sadness. I used to think Sloan and I were boring in a good way. Meal prep, Netflix, the occasional date night where she wore that black turtleneck and I pretended not to stare. Lately though, work trips multiplied and her phone evolved from a device into a brick with rights. Face down, D&D, client calls on the patio with the door shut. I told myself she was just hustling. That's what adults do, right? Hustle. The call hit at 3:12 a.m. A voice with a Scandinavian lilt said my wife had fractured her tibia and was stable. Conference in Denver, she'd said. But the callback number had an Austrian country code. I don't speak much geography, but I'm pretty sure Denver isn't tucked behind the Alps. I booked the first connection out, changed in an airport bathroom, and practiced not panicking for 9 hours over the Atlantic. The hospital in Innsbruck smelled like lemon cleaner and snow. Sloan looked small in the bed, leg in a pale blue cast, hair a mess, mascara starbursts under her eyes. When she saw me, she burst into tears so hard the nurse checked the monitor. Carter, oh my God, you came, she whispered, trying to sit up. She grabbed my hand and kissed the back of it like a pilgrim greeting a relic. I wanted to melt. I really did. Then the nurse asked in crisp English, will your husband or your boyfriend settle the pharmacy bill? She said it politely like offering tea. I thought I misheard. Sloan went rigid, then cranked out a laugh that sounded like a broken zipper. Language barrier, she said too quickly. She means boss. My boss. There were other tells. 2 lift tickets poked from her tote, stamped St. Anton. A bouquet of red roses on the side table with a card that read to our fearless girl, plural possessive, like a committee had signed her get well soon. A receipt for a ski lesson 4-2. When I asked how the Denver conference went, she dabbed her eyes and whispered, it moved, like conferences were migratory birds. I went for coffee and returned with a smile that felt like dental work. Sloan begged me to crawl into the narrow bed, just for warmth. She tucked her face under my jaw the way she always had. Her skin smelled like hotel soap and something woodsy that wasn't mine. It was a team-building break, she murmured, lips grazing my throat, barely a touch but enough to spark old reflexes. Swear on June nothing happened. I stared at the roses until the letters blurred. Somewhere down the hall a man laughed in a voice I knew from our neighborhood barbecues, a baritone with a cocky comma at the end. Trent. Our neighbor. The door opened a crack like someone testing the room number and closed just as fast when he saw me. That's when the altitude finally hit. Not the mountains, the lie. I didn't blow up in the room. I did what my dad Rick taught me, step outside, find the studs before you hang the mirror. I walked the corridor until I found a vending machine and stared at Snickers bars like they might testify. When I came back, Sloan was crying into the pillow, full body tremors, breath hiccups, mascara galaxies. Please don't be mad, she whispered, reaching for me. It was just team building. The slopes were beautiful. I wanted to feel alive. Who's Trent? I asked. She blinked once too slow. From the agency. He's on the Denver account. From across our cul-de-sac, I said. The guy who oversalts ribs and winks at every camera. Her bottom lip trembled, then she lunged for my hand and kissed the knuckles like a bargain. I swear, Carter, we skied. He helped me off the lift. It was stupid. There was champagne in the lodge. He hugged me when I fell. That's all. She squeezed her eyes shut like she could erase sentences by not seeing them. The nurse slid in with meds. When she left, Sloan's phone lit up on the tray. A preview, still at the pharmacy. You okay? Want me to sneak in? I watched the dots pulse like a heart monitor. Another banner stacked. A photo thumbnail, 2 helmets touching, goggles up, cheeks flushed, her scarf bunched at her throat. You could see a man's glove at her waist, too casual to be nothing. Give me the phone, I said. Carter, please. She held it to her chest. Don't punish me for being stupid. I took it anyway. Face ID didn't work with tears. Passcode did. The chat was a winter scrapbook of betrayal. Lift selfies, lodge fires, boots by a radiator. Words that weren't explicit but were intimate as skin. You taste like peppermint, your laugh in the gondola made the old couple blush. Meet me by the Red Run, I'll warm your hands. A video shaky and close. Sloan laughing breathless while someone off-camera murmured, hold still, I'm zipping you. The zipper sound dragged up her spine. She exhaled his name like steam. Trent. How long? I asked, throw paper dry. She slid down the sheet until she was half kneeling on the mattress, hands folded under her chin like prayer. It was a moment, she said. I slipped. You've been distant. Work, bills, routine. I felt invisible. He said I was electric. Carter, I swear I didn't mean for it to go this far. Define far. Her mouth opened and closed. She tried a different spell, you're my home. Then softer, it was kisses. Hands. Stupid, stupid hands. I'm trash. I know. Her shoulders shook. We didn't, not all the way. I couldn't. I thought of June and she broke, grabbing my wrist. Please don't leave me here. Don't punish me with cold. Another ping. T. Ava's texted Miles, be careful, he might be around. Ava is Trent's wife. Miles is my brother. Skeletons lined up politely. I scrolled up. Weeks of client dinners were really lift tickets and lodge rooms with the curtains politely open to a view of white. A receipt for private lesson, 2 packs. A note in her phone, Kayla cover, spin class 6:30. Kayla is Sloane's maid of honor who once joked confession is for people without notes apps. I set the phone down like it was hot metal. Sloane slid toward me, tears soaking the blanket, voice shredded. I'll block him. I'll change numbers. I'll fire myself. I'll crawl back. I'll be whoever you need. Please, Carter, please, don't let this be the end. I asked the nurse for air, stepped into the hallway and texted Trent, do not enter her room. Come to the family lounge. No. He showed up in a rental parka, ski hair, the smirk he wears to block shame. Bro, he started. Don't, I said. I put Sloane's phone on the table, screen lit on the gondola selfie. You zipped my wife into her jacket and unzipped our life. We're done with euphemisms. He lifted both palms like he was negotiating a parking ticket. It's not, look, it's been rough at home. Ava and I. Your rough turned into my avalanche. He tried the gentler lie. We didn't, you know. He glanced at the picture, then at me. It was kissing. That's it. Cool, I said. Let's memorialize that in a text to your wife. I typed out a confession on Sloane's phone. Dates, the resort, the not all the way. I handed it to him. Send to Ava, CC yourself. He swallowed, didn't send, and backed out with a half-bow apology that made me want to scrub my skin. I went back to Sloane's room. She'd slid herself off the bed, cast and all, kneeling on the tile, fingers laced, whispering, please, please, please. Her eyes kept searching my face for the version of me who believed. It was a mistake, she said. It felt like oxygen after months of schedule. He made me feel like a person again. But I love you. I love our daughter. I will never see him again. I'll smash the phone. Oh. You already smashed us, I said, calm like bleeding in snow. Here's what happens next, separate flight. You recover at home. We do DNA for June to kill every what if my brain will invent. We tell Ava. We tell Miles and my parents before gossip beats us. Phones on the table, no passwords. Counseling. Then I decide. She reached for my hand, I didn't give it. She cried harder, voice going small. Carter, I swear on June, nothing. She couldn't finish the sentence. The jagged pause was the whole truth. On the way to the airport I called Ava. She answered on the first ring, voice already tired. I figured, she said. He's networking in Austria. At least you both bought lift tickets, I said and told her everything. She went quiet in that way people do when shock is a second language. Email me what you have, she said finally. For the file I never thought I'd need. At the gate, Sloane kept trying to make us a couple by proximity, shoulder against mine, head on my arm, whispering, I'll be better. I'll be new. I can be empty if you want. People stared at the cast, then at the crying. Nobody can tell the difference between pain and consequence at 30,000 feet. Back home, my parents were waiting. Dad looked at the cast, then at me, then at the overnight bag in my hand like it was an answer sheet. Mom hugged me hard and turned to Sloane with the softest, coldest 9 words, You will not manipulate my son in my house. Sloane folded again, knees to carpet, palms up, I'm sorry, like a rosary. I put the evidence on the table, receipts, screenshots, the spin class cover note. No fire, I said. Just facts. And the room stopped, pretending we were a normal family greeting travelers from a trip. Shock is loud, living with it is whisper heavy. We made temporary rules that first night. Sloane sleeps in the guest room, phones on the kitchen island, Life 360 reinstalled, calendar shared, counselor booked. She nodded so hard the ponytail elastic gave up. Then she slid from the chair to her knees on my parents' rug, palms up like an usher at a midnight church. I'll be good. I'll be new. I'll be empty if that's what you want, she whispered, forehead pressed to my shoe. Mom cleared her throat. Stand up, sweetheart. Dignity is step one. I tried not to be a movie cliché. I told myself forgiveness is a muscle. So I did the homework, collected receipts, wrote timelines, turned off late-night whiskey. In bed, alone, I smelled the gondola in my head, would smoke, her laugh against somebody else's mouth, the zipper purring up her spine. My body remembered the spot under her ear where she'd go soft. My brain remembered a glove at her waist that wasn't mine. I'd fall asleep sweating and wake up cold. Her family came by with casserole and chaos. Her mom, Sherry, hugged me too long and stage whispered, "Men don't understand freedom," like it was a medical condition. Her stepdad, Ron, pitched an open marriage trial period because Europeans do it. Her brother, Zeke, borrowed my drill and never returned it, then texted me from the driveway, "You good for 300 till Friday?" I showed them the lift tickets and the Notes app cover story. Sherry's face pinched. "You're really going to ruin her life over kissing?" Sloane dropped to her knees again, crying hard enough to shake the table. "Mom, stop," she sobbed. Then to me, "Please, Carter. I choose you. I choose our family. Don't throw me away." I wanted to be chosen. I also didn't want to be plan B on a mountain. We did counseling. Sloane called the affair oxygen, called our house schedule, called me safe. The therapist asked what safe meant. Sloane said, "The person I collapse next to." I thought of a rental parka in an alpine hallway and the word collapse bent into kissing shapes. After, Sloane followed me to the parking lot, mascara comets on her cheeks, and knelt between cars on the slush, grabbing my belt like a lifeline. "I'll block him now, watch me." She did. Then 5 minutes later asked if I could hold her while she cried. I did because I'm not made of marble. Nights were worst. I'd check June's door twice, then stand in the dark kitchen staring at two phones like they were sleeping animals. On good hours, I believed we could sand the splinters and reseal the floor. On bad ones, I imagined the lodge, firelight on her throat, his glove under her scarf, and tasted metal. I wrote a list on a post-it: truth, boundaries, sleep, water. Then under it, if more lies surface, we're done. I stuck it to the fridge. 2 days later, a mint green burner fell out of Sloane's tote. It slid out like a confession, mint green burner, cracked corner, tucked under her wallet. Sloane froze, then did the thing, straight to her knees on the tile, palms up, voice small. "Please, Carter, I forgot about that one. Trent made me get it when Ava almost saw a text. I was going to tell you, I swear." The phone was unlocked. 8 contacts. A heart next to T. A group called Bridesmaids Real. Notes full of alibis, spin class, Kayla cover, invoice code, lift. It wasn't porn, it was intimacy with receipts, lodge selfies, blurred lamplight, her scarf tugged down just so. Captions like "Your mouth warmed me faster than cocoa and meet me by the red run, I'll thaw your hands." I felt my ribs tighten like a vice. I didn't yell. I printed. Screenshots. Bank charges. Lift tickets. I made a timeline, airport stamps, conferences, that magically overlapped with snowfall reports. I forwarded everything to a clean drive labeled receipts, not rage, and emailed Ava with a neat bundle. She replied fast, "Thank you. For sanity." Then, he told me he was chaperoning a work retreat. Funny, right? Sloane crawled after me, following room to room, cash dragging, begging like it was her job. "I'll be new. I'll delete everyone. I'll shave my head, I'll change jobs, I'll give you my location 24/7. Please don't end us." She tried to kiss my wrist, that soft, familiar brush that used to short-circuit me. My body flickered, my spine stayed. "Stand up," I said. "Add what I missed." I slid her the timeline and a pen. Her handwriting shook. More dates. A cabin for clarity. A quick drink, that was 3 hours. Kayla covering with "girls' night" emojis. Becca, maid of honor, sending "you deserve joy" gifts like absolution. My parents came again. Dad scanned the spreadsheet like a blueprint. "You're not crazy, you're injured," he said. Mom put tea on the table and told Sloane, gentle steel, "You may cry in a chair." Sloane tried the floor anyway, forehead to rug, sobbing apologies to the fibers. Mom didn't budge. Her side swarmed. Sherry, perfume like a courtroom, declared, "Men would die without women's sparkle." Ron pitched, "Ethical non-monogamy, try Europe." Zeke texted from the driveway, "You got my drill? Also 200 till Friday?" I slid the burner across to Sherry. She read 3 lines and went chalk white. "Sloane," she hissed, "you always pick the shiny thing. Skeletons knocked. Sherry let one out, like you did with your teacher's aide. Sloane snapped, Mom, then deflated, whispering, it was just texting. I added a column, history. That night I wrote house rules like building codes. Separate rooms, no hidden devices, counselor twice weekly, disclosure to Ava complete, no contact to Trent written by me and sent from her phone. We typed it together, do not contact me. All communication goes through our attorneys. This is final. Set. 3 dots appeared, vanished. Silence. Revenge itched, but I kept it boring on purpose. I changed passwords, froze credit, moved photos of June to a safe drive. I posted exactly one image, her conference agenda, next to 2 St. Anton lift tickets. No caption. People can read. At 11:40 p.m., Trent's wife texted me a single line. Coffee? I have things you should see. I stared at the burner, at Sloane asleep upright in the guest chair, tear track silver in streetlight, and felt the floor of my old life settle an inch lower. Tomorrow truth. Tonight water. Sleep. Boundaries taped to the fridge like a prayer. Ava picked a corner booth that smelled like burnt sugar and endings. No mascara, no rings, just a folder thicker than mine. She slid me screenshots. Trent in the lodge mirror, his hand low on Sloane's scarf. A video of gloved fingers tracing her jaw while she whispered, we shouldn't, in that voice that sounds like yes. Not porn, worse. Familiar. Ava had logs, dates, a spreadsheet that matched mine like carbon paper. I thought I was crazy, she said. Turns out I was married. We clinked paper cups like a truce. We agreed on boring revenge, lawyers not bonfires. She'd file no contact. I'd send the package to my attorney and copy hers. She asked one favor, tell the truth to the people who can hurt you if they only hear her version. So I did. Sunday dinner at my parents' became a deposition. I laid the timeline between the roast and the rolls. Dad read, grunted like a stud finder hitting wood. Mom breathed in slow through her nose, then put a hand over mine. You are steady, she said like a verdict. Sloane tried to stage the scene, staggered in on crutches, eyes glossy, slid to her knees by the chair. I'll change, I'll be pure, Mom, stand up. We're talking sitting. Her family arrived with theater. Sherry in a fur vest, Ron with a pamphlet titled Modern Marriage, Zeke hunting for beer like a truffle pig. I set my single post on the TV, her conference agenda beside 2 St. Anton passes. No commentary. Sherry's jaw clenched. Ron said, European model? Like a coupon code. Zeke asked if he could post this on the close friends story for awareness. I took the remote back. Sloane cycled the whole script. Denial, blame, sobs, bargaining. It was oxygen, you were schedule. I felt invisible. I'm trash. Make me better. Don't throw me away. She crawled, fingers on my shoe, forehead to my knee. I wanted to run and I wanted to forgive. Instead, precision, no contact is sent. Counselor tomorrow. Separate finances. DNA for June, then we stop inventing ghosts. Break one rule and we're done. That night I texted Trent from my number. All communication through counsel. Preserve your devices. He replied, bro, I muted him like static. The backlash came sideways. A neighbor DM'd Team Sloane with a wineglass emoji. Kayla, the alibi friend, posted a quote about women choosing joy. I replied nowhere. Ava and I sent a joint note to the HOA thread. Please direct all questions to nobody. Thanks. Petty? Yes. Satisfying? Also yes. Then a twist. Miles, my brother, admitted Trent had hinted months ago. I thought he was puffing, Miles said, ashamed. It landed like a second betrayal. I didn't swing. I added a line on my fridge list, protect the perimeter. Even from friendly fire. I slept at the townhome I'd rush rented that afternoon. Air mattress, 2 plates, June's spare pajamas and a drawer labeled new. I wrote 4 words on the whiteboard by the door. Truth. Paper. Water. Sleep. Sloane called at 1:03 a.m. whispering, just let me lie on the floor outside your door, please. I put the phone face down, listened to the quiet, and for the first time since the Alps, it stayed quiet. Saturday came like a court date. I strapped June into her booster and drove to the clinic with Sloane in the back, cast across the seat, whispering prayers she doesn't believe in. She tried to lace her fingers through the headrest like I might hold her hand by accident. I kept both on the wheel. Mom met us in the lobby with juice boxes. Dad paced like a metronome. The nurse had the professional kindness of someone who swabs train wrecks for a living. Cheek swab for June, for me. Paperwork. Barcodes. Click. Sloane cried the whole time, quiet, then loud, then quiet again. When it was done, she slid to her knees in the hallway, On linoleum, palms up. Please Carter, please, she's ours, you raised her, love isn't DNA. People stared. I didn't have spare dignity to hand out. Get up, I said soft. We don't pray to lies. On the way out we stopped at Ava's. She had a shoebox on the table, Trent's second phone, the real one, plus a printout of a draft email he never sent. In it he wrote, "This isn't love, it's gravity and cowardice, promising to confess, go no contact, be better." He never pressed send. The weird kindness of that undelivered truth almost undid me. The results hit my inbox at 6:11 a.m. on Tuesday. Probability of paternity, 0%. The house made a small settling sound like it understood before I did. Sloane was already outside my door on the hallway carpet, knees red, whispering bargains. "I'll shave my head, I'll delete everyone, I'll be empty, I opened the door, showed her the screen. She folded like a card table, forehead to the wood. "She's yours," I said, voice steady. "Not by blood, by every breakfast, every night light." "That doesn't change." I meant it. It still broke me. I told my parents. Mom's face did that brave soft thing. Dad hugged me hard and said, "You're her dad because you keep showing up." I emailed Ava the result. She replied with one sentence, "We'll protect the kids from our mess." Then Sherry kicked the door in with perfume and performance. "You will not steal my granddaughter." Ron pitched joint households to reduce trauma, like we were IKEA shelving. Zeke asked if I could co-sign a Camaro. I pointed at the door. Even the dog looked done. That night I moved full-time into the townhome. Trent texted bro from 3 numbers. I muted all 3. Sloane showed up at 11:58 p.m., sat on the porch step, then slid down, knees on concrete. "I choose honesty," she whispered through the screen. "I choose whatever lets me keep being her mom." I handed her the custody draft. Lauren, mediator, had emailed. "Exchanges at the library, therapy first, no overnight guests, no contact enforced, truth in session, not in whispers." Before bed I stuck a new line under my whiteboard list. Build anyway. Then I set an alarm for morning pancakes, burned the first one on purpose like always, because the quiet boom had happened and the world, unbelievably, was still asking me to make breakfast. Lauren, the mediator with a soft hammer voice, drew our map. Exchanges at the library, kid first calendar, child therapist before any big truth, no overnight guests, no triangulating relatives. Sloane nodded so hard the crutches squeaked, then slid down to her knees in the lobby like repentance had wheels. "I'll be good, I'll be empty, whatever he needs," she sobbed to Lauren's shoes. Lauren didn't blink. "Stand up." We parents standing. I picked revenge that files not flames. Sent Ava the full packet. Locked credit. Froze the joint. Moved June's school emails to a new address. Wrote a 1-page what happened for the 3 people who could hurt me if they only heard Sloane's version. My brother Miles, my boss Jax, Aunt Renee who hosts every holiday. No adjectives, just dates and lift tickets. Then one quiet post. Sloane's conference agenda beside 2 St. Anton passes on the counter. No caption. People can read. Sherry launched PR, Facebook paragraphs about controlling husbands. Ron suggested ethical non-monogamy transitional phase, like a software update. Zeke texted, "Can you spot rent if I Venmo you vibes?" Mom screenshotted the chaos and replied to nobody with her favorite weapon. "Dinner at 6, pot roast, bring your best selves." At the table, I put the timeline down between the mashed potatoes and Grace. Dad tapped the paper twice like a gavel. "We deal in facts," he said. Sloane reached for my knee under the table. Mom moved the napkin to block her hand like a goalie. Later that night, the group chat dam burst. Kayla, alibi-in-chief, dropped a Choose Joy quote. Becca, maid of honor, posted a sunset about women who sparkle. Ava texted me a forward from Trent. He says Carter's unstable. I answered with a PDF titled Receipts, Not Rage. Ava replied, "Bless your office supply soul," and served him papers. Then a skeleton fell out of an old closet. My email pinged with a "You're signing" code, for an account I'd never made. A private photo vault in Sloane's maiden name. Inside, not porn but intimacy, hotel mirrors, wine-red cheeks, her scarf tugged low. Captions like "Your hands thawed me faster than cocoa." Dates overlapped June's first school concert. The oxygen she described suddenly had timestamps. I didn't forward those. I printed 2 for the folder and shut the vault. Not everything needed an audience. Sloane tried a different angle, showing up early to exchanges, cast, cardigan, eyes huge. "Please Carter," on repeat, down on the library carpet, knees again, palms up in the children's section while a cutout giraffe watched. "I'll confess in church. I'll shave my head on live." don't throw me away. I helped her stand because librarians were staring. We're done performing, I said. We do paper. We do therapy. We do quiet. At home, I hung a cheap whiteboard in the kitchen of the townhome. Truth, paper, water, sleep, build anyway. Under it I added 3 corny lines that somehow worked. Pancakes, park, wrench. The first 2 were for June. The last was for me, the hobby I'd been circling without naming. I ordered a used mountain bike and a second-hand set of chisels. If she chased artificial heights on a mountain, I'd earn mine on a trail and at a workbench, sweat that told the truth. Trent texted bro, again from another number. I didn't answer. Lauren emailed the signed temporary plan. The house exhaled. For the first time since the Alps, quiet wasn't a threat, it was room. The first week alone in the townhome I didn't drink. I wanted to, but I wrote a schedule instead, like framing a house. Mornings, run with the dog I was borrowing from my parents, cold shower, real breakfast. Days, work, no doom scrolling, call one friend back. Evenings, bike trail or bench time. Nights, journal, lights out. I taped it next to the whiteboard. Truth, paper, water, sleep, build anyway. Pancakes, park, wrench. June adjusted faster than grown-ups do. At my place she named the air mattress Cloud Boat, then helped me graduate to an actual bed by dropping in the last Allen key like a ceremony. On Saturdays we kept our covenant, burned the first pancake on purpose, then hit the park in the Greenbelt. When she was with Sloan, I rode the canyon until my legs hummed, then came home to carve dovetails so stubborn I forgot the Alps for 20 minutes at a time. Group therapy was 5 guys in folding chairs and a coffee urn that tasted like penance. A carpenter named Marco said, "You're not weak for missing the movie you thought you were in." A teacher, Jesse, added, "Just don't sit in the theater after the credits." I said out loud, "My best friend across the cul-de-sac is the guy. My daughter is mine by every breakfast but not by blood." My wife begged on her knees and I went numb. No one flinched. Naming it shrank it, not a lot, enough. Boring revenge kept working. Lauren pushed the temporary plan through the court like a snowplow. Ava and I stayed in our lanes, kid-first calendars, no theatrics. When Sherry tried a Facebook aria about controlling husbands, Mom replied nowhere and showed up with soup. Ron sent me a PDF called Open Hearts Europe. I filed it under comedy. Zeke texted for $300 and my torque wrench. I sent him a bus schedule and a photo of the wrench already in use. Then the twist you never script. Miles apologized clean. "I heard hints and didn't warn you," he said on my stoop, eyes wet in the stupid brother way. He handed me a ratty paperback, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. "For the bench days," he said. We hugged like teenagers who pretend they're not. I reclaimed a slope on purpose. Not St. Anton, just a cheap weekend pass 2 hours away. No lodge selfies. No peppermint. I rode the slow lift with my breath fogging the bar and let cold say the thing therapy can't. You get to love snow again. At the top, I didn't chase speed. I traced easy S's, let the mountain be geography, not a crime scene. Coming home to the townhome felt less like exile, more like a place where light knows where to land. The coffee table's first coat of oil brought out ripples in the maple I didn't see when it was just rough square stock. June pressed her palm in the sheen and whispered, "It's shiny like water." "Yeah, kid. That's the point. Shine without pretending." On the whiteboard I added one more line, "Keep showing up." 4 court dates, for school pickup, for myself when the 2 a.m. ghosts bang on the pipes. Sloan still texted essays that began, "I'm changing," and ended, "Don't throw me away." I didn't answer. Not cruelty, clarity. The life I'm building doesn't speak that language anymore. A year from the lift tickets, life is quieter in the way good snow is. Muffled edges, crisp air. The court stamped our temporary plan into a permanent one without fireworks. Kid-first schedule, therapy guardrails, no contact enforced, finances split like math not knives. Sloan's apologies faded into occasional holiday paragraphs. Sherry posts vague prayers. Ron sells a webinar about European hearts. Zeke still owes me a drill. Trent? New cul-de-sac. Same smirk if I catch him at a red light. I don't look over. June is still my girl. DNA didn't move pancakes or night lights. She learned to ride without training wheels, and when she wobbled she yelled, "Keep showing up," at herself like a spell. The coffee table gleams properly now. The bike hangs on the wall with trail dust like freckles. My whiteboard got upgraded to a framed print, same words, truth, paper, water, sleep, build anyway, pancakes, park, wrench, keep showing up. Was revenge satisfying? In the petty moments, yes. One captionless photo told enough truth to stop the spin cycle. But the real win wasn't her humiliation, it was my house breathing again. Not the structure, me. The man who stopped negotiating with fog. If you're reading this from the crash site, here's the short version I wish someone texted me. Document don't detonate. Rage is loud, paper is undefeated, precision beats fire. Put truth in the right hands and leave the rest alone. You are not weak for missing the movie. Just don't sleep in the empty theater. Build a life that isn't about the wound. Pick 3 verbs you can keep. Mine were pancakes, park, wrench. My wife went on a business trip and broke her leg skiing with her lover. I bought an international ticket for the old US and landed in a story where I finally chose me. The mountain didn't stop being beautiful. It just stopped being theirs.